Given the demand equation QD equals 600 minus 5P, we are to sketch the demand curve if price is 0, 30, 60, 90, and 120. So obviously our demand equation equals 600 minus 5P. QD represents quantity and P is price. How do you go about this? The first step is to find for the individual quantities given the prices. So all you have to do is to insert the figures for the prices in the equation to find the quantities. Now our first quantity is 600 minus 5 into 0, which is obviously 600 units. Therefore, if price is 0, quantity 1 is 600. Now, if price is 30, what is quantity 2? So QD2 equals 600 minus 5 into 30, which is equal to 600 minus 5 times 30 is 150. 600 minus 150 is 450. Therefore, our second unit is 450 units, which means that at price 30, our quantity is 450. At price 60, what is our quantity 3? QD equals 600 minus 5 into 60, which is equal to 600 minus 300. Therefore, QD3 is 300 units. Our third point being 60 is to 30, 300. Our next point, which is if price is equal to 90, what is quantity? Quantity 4 equals 600 minus 5 into 90, which is equal to 600 minus 450. So our quantity 4 is for 150 units. Our fourth point being 90 is to 150. If P equals 120, what is QD5? QD5 equals 600 minus 5 into 120 equals 600 minus 600, which is equal to 0 units. This means that at price 120, our quantity is 0. I rewrote my point to aid in easier representation or to help me to find it easier while plotting these points on the curve. Our first point is 0 is to 600, 30 is to 450, 60 is to 300, and our fourth point is at price 90, quantity is 150, and at price 120, quantity is 0. So looking at this, we can easily plot it on our demand curve. So let's draw our demand curve to see if it actually goes by the demand or the law of demand. So I went ahead to draw my X and Y axis. This is not drawn to scale. So the Y axis represents the price and quantity is always on the X axis. Yes, so looking at the points, the first figures are always the prices, and then the second figures are always the quantity. So I have to plot the P or the first points, the first figures on the P axis, which is the Y axis, and then plot or write the second point or the second unit or the second figures on the quantity axis. they represent the quantity axis, starting from the lowest point, which is from 0, 150, 300, 450, and then 600. After writing these on the axis, then I have to find my points. The first point being 0 and 600. So price is 0, quantity is 600. Now at 330 and 150, I have to find it. Then 660 to 300 neatly plotted. When price is 90, quantity is for 150, neatly plotted. And then at price 120, quantity is obviously 0. So after doing this, you have to neatly join them together with a straight line. I used my hand because it is not drawn to scale. It is not drawn to scale. So obviously we have to get a negative slope because the law of demand states that the higher the price, the lower the quantity demanded. So the relationship between price and quantity is always negative on the normal. So when you're given a question like this, you have to get a negative slope for your quantity demand, or the demand curve should be a negative slope. It should slope from left to right on the graph. Thank you, and let's meet again to solve more questions on demand.